What's going on, my Central Unit Galaxy? It's the Central Man here. So in this video, I'm ranking the Phase 1 MCU movies from worst to best. So we had 6 movies of Phase 1 of the MCU. We got Iron Man 1, Incredible Hulk, Iron Man 2, Thor 1, Captain America 1, and Avengers. This phase lasted for 4 years. It started in 2008 and ended in 2012. So let's start with the worst. So, the worst movie of Phase 1, I have to go with Iron Man 2. I reviewed that movie a month ago. It's between Iron Man 2 or Incredible Hulk. I think Incredible Hulk was a bit better movie than Iron Man 2, that's my opinion. So Iron Man 2, boy, this was a letdown than the first one. The first one was better. Sometimes sequels are not the same as the first movie. This was a bit of a letdown. I'm sorry, You got, Sam Rockwell as Justin Hammer was good. He was, one of the best. I think out of the 3 Iron Man movies, I place him, it's a bit of the second place. It's between, it's tied to first alongside Obadiah Stane, played by Jeff Bridges. Ben Kingsley was worse. I'll get to Phase 2, but I think Sam Rockwell plays the role as Justin Hammer very well. There's cocky, arrogant, charismatic villain. Anyway, so yeah, the plot was a bit disappointed. You got Mickey Rourke plays Ivan Vanko, Whiplash. He did okay. Yeah, you try to put on the Russian accent. I think sometimes you don't understand him with the Russian accent. It's so confusing with the character, because his dad was Anton Vanko. He was basically he was Iron Man's rival, his enemy from the comics, and then all of a sudden his dad got killed off in the movie. It was a bit disappointment. It reminds me of Amazing Spider-Man 2. You had basically Norman Osborn got killed first before Harry. Everyone knows Norman Osborn is basically the first Green Goblin before Harry. Having Anton gets killed off, and then Ivan took his place. It became Whiplash. And I think he was trying to. I think that it disappointed. I never got to see the fans not got to see what was it called, Crimson Dynamo. Unfortunately, we got he was wearing the suit. It was a bit disappointing. The fight was okay. The fight scenes were okay. In Monte Carlo in the race, and then later on in America. But besides that, I think the ending fight, the final fight was a bit shorter than the first one. The first one was a little bit shorter, but that's just me. Anyway, and it was a disappointing progressing relationship. Furthering up the relationship between Tony Stark and Pepper Potts. Pepper is now basically promoted as the CEO of Stark Industry. The fight scene between Iron Man and Rhodey, Tony and Rhodey, that was good. That was funny, but not funny, but it was good. You had the music. I think you had the Queen music in the background, and also a little bit of AC/DC. But besides that, the plot scene was disappointing. Sometimes sequels are never the same as the first movie. That's just me, I think out of the 3 Iron Man movies, I put basically rank it down the middle. The best one has to be Iron Man 1, and last place has to be Iron Man 3. Anyway, on the bright side, you had you got Scarlett Johansson making her MCU bow as Natasha Romanoff, Black Widow. You had John Favreau, director of this movie, director of the 2 Iron Man movies, 3 Iron Man movies. He, showed up as Happy Hogan. I don't think that character made his return in future movies of Marvel. That'd be disappointing, but he plays that character down well as Happy Hogan. He got his ass kicked by Black Widow in the sparring scene. You had Don Cheadle making his MCU bow as James Rhodey Rhodes. Because Terrence Howard was appeared in the previous movie, in the first movie, as Rhodey, but unfortunately he didn't renounce his role. So I'm gonna end it. So yeah, Iron Man 2, for me, that's gotta be basically the worst movie of Phase 1 of the MCU. I was giving like 3.5 stars, but it's been a month, so I'm gonna knock it down about. I don't give it 2 stars, I'm gonna give it 2.5 stars, man. Yeah, I'm sorry. It was a bit of a letdown. So, yeah, that's 6th place. 5th place, I have to go with The Incredible Hulk. It was a better movie than Iron Man 2, but that's not saying too much. This was a standalone, just a standard superhero movie, actually. You had Edward Norton in his one and only role as Bruce Banner, and the Hulk, before he got replaced by Mark Ruffalo. Yeah, he got screwed over because he was writing his version of the movie. The best villain in this movie has to be William Hurt as Thunderbolt Ross. He was like nailed that character really damn well. And you had Tim Roth as what's it called, Blonsky as Abomination. The fight between Hulk and Abomination, it was good. I don't think people have mixed opinions of it. I think it was an okay fight. Because in the Avengers movie, the review I did on the Avengers, Bruce kind of broke. Last time he appeared in New York, he nearly broke Harlem. Yeah, the fight between him and Abomination. You had what's it called? Team Blake. I think it's called Team Blake Nelson. He plays Samuel Stearns. It's a shame that he's not going to be leader because he was he was helping Blonsky. Blonsky become Abomination. He got hit in the head. His blood kind of dripped. Banner's blood dripped in his head. His head starting to swell up. He thought he's going to be leader. Unfortunately, we're not going to see him in that role. It's too little, too late to do a sequel. They should have done a sequel of Incredible Hulk, probably in Phase 1 or even in Phase 2. Unfortunately, we never got to see that. To me, it was a bit disservice. I want to see how Samuel Stearns basically, get along, get on, really do well as leader. Unfortunately, that's not going to happen. Liv Tyler as Betty Ross. Okay, but no, I think it's a downgrade for love interest. Out of the four, well, actually, out of the three women in Phase 1, between her, Haley Atwell as Peggy Carter, and Pepper Potts, and even like Jane Foster, I put her down the middle. She was okay. I think it's just a lack of character development. It's a shame that's her only role as Betty Ross. The character never came back. I think the point that Hulk is done with love. Yeah, he had some glimpses with a Black Widow, but besides that, the character is not going into that love interest side. It's in the rest of the movies, into the Avengers movies and Ragnarok. The movie was okay. It was fine for what it is. The fight scenes were, it was okay. I think it was just a standard, really standard superhero movie, man. It's way better. This is way better than Incredible Hulk from 2003. I might review the Hulk movie from 2003 in the future. So, yeah, this movie is about. I give it 5th place. It was a standalone superhero movie. Nothing special, nothing fancy. Wasn't terrible, but it was in the middle of quality of Phase 1. But I rank it 5th place. So 4th place, I'm gonna go with Thor. This was a decent movie. It set up like two movies, Dark Worlds and Ragnarok. I've been trying to get for years. Really the director for this movie is Kenneth Branagh. Kev Branagh, who was basically, for me, I'm a Harry Potter fan. As Gilderoy Lockhart from Harry Potter and the Chamber of Secrets. Besides, it was going to that Viking mythology and sci-fi mythology. It wasn't fantastic, wasn't terrible. It was a decent movie, introduced Thor into it. Chris Hemsworth as Thor. Jane Foster was played by Natalie Portman. She was good. She was alright. Kat Dennings as Darcy Lewis. It's really good. We've seen that character. The character returned recently in the WandaVision show. Besides that, nothing like flaw. There's no terrible flaws. It has to be in the villains. The villains department. You had Laufey played by Colin Firth. He played by Colin Firth. Laufey. He was not. I thought he would be the main villain of this movie. Unfortunately, that's not the case. You got Tom Hiddleston as Loki, nailed it. He's not. Is that's not really his movie. You know, there's some glimpses. He was kind of like leaning. He was leaning. I almost say babyface. You know, the terms in professional wrestling, but he was leaning like in the good guy part in the first act, and then when he gets to the second and third act, he was leaning basically. Yeah, he was leaning villain status. You know, if I was in wrestling terms, I think Loki will be more of a tweener. Yeah, I call him more of a tweener. If I want to do these videos like comparing like superheroes to pro wrestling, you know, in like terms of face and heel turns, I might do that. You know, you got people gonna say, oh yeah, you can't do that. You know, it's just for fun. You know, I'm not doing it for taking it seriously. So anyway, the fight scenes, they were okay. They were good. At this point, they're still not great. They're still working on that department. They get better in future movies. Don't get me wrong, but yeah, it's all about Thor. You know, disrespect. Really ignore his father's really basically he wants to like fight the frost giants because they're trying to stole like the Infinity Stone. It's not the Tesseract. You know, the Tesseract's the cube. They went to Jotunheim. You know, basically Thor's fighting. He doesn't give a shit. Fighting the frost giants. Odin, you know, basically obey. He basically deny, you know, Odin's, you know, quest, you know, not to fight him. He's basically ignores decision, and basically Thor basically exiled Thor to planet Earth. Odin basically took his powers away. Met Jane Foster. The funny parts of the movie has to be the car scenes. You know, has to be like, you know, when Jane basically running over Thor on two separate occasions in the desert, and then in the hospital when Thor escaped from the hospital and he got run over by the Jeep. Darcy, you know, in that look, I said in that look when Thor was shirtless, you know, you had that look in Darcy's face, you know, like typical girls do. Sometimes girls get that funny look, that look, go, wow, look at that dude's bod, you know. Yeah, yeah, I say it was a decent movie. Not the best one. It's in the middle for me. Out of quality of Marvel movies so far in Phase 1. Yes, like progression of the love, really some feelings between Thor and Jane Foster. So yeah, Thor. I put it in the middle. So we're in the final three of Phase 1. We got Iron Man, yeah, Captain America: First Avenger, and the Avengers from 2012. So, which ones gets the bronze medal? Third place. Boy, this is difficult. This is the difficult one. Boy, I have to say, boy, this is a tie between second or third. Boy, I'm gonna have to go with Avengers. Yeah, Avengers. You know, I think Avengers is the third. It's third place. It was a good movie. Like I said, I reviewed that movie last time in this series. Yeah, Loki. This is the Loki movie because Loki's, you know, goal in this movie was ruling Earth, introducing the Avengers. You know, like their background. What before there were Avengers, you got Black Widow getting kidnapped by a Russian mob. You know, and kicking their asses. Banners in India. You know, he was in Brazil in the Incredible Hulk movie, and now he's in India. You had you got Thor. Basically, it didn't explain how Thor get back to planet Earth. You know, didn't came back from planet Earth. Basically, destroyed the gateway between Earth and Asgard. You know, he's basically, hey, he's back in the plane. He's in the plane, confronting Loki, and that was it. Yeah, the funny part's the Hulk. You know, he's basically Hulk. You know, doing this. You know, he's funny. It was one scene like Cap telling you know the members of the Avengers what to do, and we get to Hulk. Say Hulk smash, and then the funny part, Thor basically punched Thor out of nowhere. I think they're in the museum, and the stuff with Loki when Thor, it's like Hulk smashing Loki around like a rag doll in Stark Tower. It will soon become the Avengers Tower. That was funny. You know, I brought it up in the Avengers movie review. Puny Giant. He had that. You know, he had Loki going, you know, with that facial look. Yeah, I'm not saying it was. I doubt say it was second place for me. You know, it was a blockbuster drama action packed movie, but in third place, I don't really rank it higher. I think it's been better movies. You know, look at overall the 6 movies of Phase One. I place it third place. It's in the top three, and I think I put it third place. It's close ties. I can put it second place, but not first place. Second or third, but I put it third to me. Second place, I'm gonna go with Iron Man. I think this was a good movie. Introduced, Robbie Downey Jr., his battle as Tony Stark Iron Man, told a good story about a playboy billionaire weapons manufacturer got kidnapped in Afghanistan by, I think we called the Ten Rings, and created a suit because he saw death because his army buddies got killed, and stopping, basically his assistant or his work partner in the same company, Stark Industry, that is, Obadiah Stane, played by Jeff Bridges. Jeff Bridges fucking nailed it. He's played this manipulating guy because in one scene he tried to manipulate Pepper. He goes, Pepper, discover what they're doing. And you have some love relationship development of the relationship between Tony and Pepper, because at this point Pepper was kind of like Tony Stark's PA. They're not married yet. You can see, I think you see some glimpses in Avengers 1 and Iron Man 3. So yeah, it told a really good story. Introduced Nick Fury. He's basically, and also Coulson. Yeah, also Coulson died in Avengers. I'm trying to keep it short and simple. Otherwise, it'll be a very long video. I'm trying to keep it about 25 to 30 minutes. For the time being, I think, introduced Coulson and Nick Fury to plant the seeds of the Avengers, because, Stark came back in the post-credit scene of Incredible Hulk, telling Thunderbolt Ross he's gonna form, that's gonna be the form of the Avengers. Yeah, Thunderbolt Ross is not coming back. It's likely he's not coming back. If it's coming back, it'll be a different actor. So, back to Iron Man 1. Yeah, I think the fight scenes with, Tony beating the crap out of the Ten Rings, in Afghanistan, when he, the prototype suit and the Iron Man suit, they were good. The fight with Obadiah Stane, at this point, the Department of final battle scenes was still not that great yet, but it was getting there. Don't get me wrong, it was getting there. So, Terrence Howard as Rhodey Rhodes. Shame that he's never returned in that role. He got replaced by Don Cheadle. He played all right. I think he won like a Hollywood Globe, a Golden Globe, or some kind of award in movies. It's a damn shame, but Iron Man 2 is gotta be the best movie. I think it's a good origin. It was a good origin film. It's the first movie of Phase 1, but not the first. It's second place for me. So moving on to number 1, have to go with Captain America: First Avenger. That's for me. That's my opinion. Everyone has a different opinion. You don't have to take it seriously. Anyway, I think this is another good origin movie, but better. It introduced, Steve Rogers as Captain America, like a scrawny a little 94-pound weakling from Brooklyn, New York, and become this most heroic hero, fighting Hydra from World War II. Yeah, the difference between, Tony Stark and Steve Rogers. Steve Rogers is a little bit serious. He does really crack a joke sometimes, but with Tony Stark, he plays the role as the likable asshole. That's part of Robbie Downey Jr.'s character, playing the role as the likable asshole. I think the fight scenes were good. The fight scene between Cap and Red Skull, played by Hugo Weaving, that was good. Weaving, it's a shame that he's never returned. The character Red Skull came back in Endgames and Infinity War, but that was a different actor. But I think he nailed that role down well. Haley Atwell in love interest, but I think for me personally, I think it's first place for me. I think second place has to be Thor and Jane Foster. Third place, Tony Stark, Pepper Potts. Fourth place has to be, I'm talking about Phase 1, has to be, Bruce Banner, Betty Ross. This is first place between Steve Rogers and Peggy Carter. Yeah, it set up the Avengers movie set up the Agent of Shield show, with Coulson dying. This movie, Captain America vs. Avengers, set it up like Agent Carter. That would be like 2012, 2013. You had characters from the first Captain America movie. Like Peggy Carter, Howard Stark. That played by Dominic Cooper. Like I said, two characters of Howard Stark. That was two actors playing the role as Howard Stark. That's Dominic Cooper and John Slattery. Yeah, it was good. It was good. You had Thor. Basically Cap was like frozen in the block of ice for 70 years. They kind of centered out the more lines in when Cap was woken up. He was scared. He's shocked that it's not the 1940s. It's like in 2011. It's all like electrical billboard signs, and Nick Fury told him like you've been asleep for 70 years. And he said about, Steve said to Nick Fury, he says, "How I'm alive?" And he said, "Don't know. Did we won the war?" Of course, hell yeah, we won the war. They kind of cut it out of the movie, and the final line of the movie for Captain America vs. Avenger, Steve says, I had a date." That was a good line because he had he had a date with Peggy Carter, a slow dance at the Stork, was it the Stork Club? Unfortunately, that's not going to happen. We got the slow dance in Endgames, but it told a good origin story. It's basically mixing the Marvel world and real world. In the real world, it happened in real life. The war. I think the Hydra guys were good. I think they are portraying the roles of the Nazis. You got Red Skull was he was helping Hitler, but in reality, he is Hitler. Don't get me wrong. I understand they can't do this. You don't want to make it super controversial. They might not get controversial, but I'm just saying. Yeah, it happened in Wonder Woman, but I think you don't want to make it too political. I think it was a good story. It was a good story about this guy in Brooklyn became a hero. Sacrificed himself for the greater good because it really set up like sequels. Captain America 2, Winter Soldier. Bucky got killed off in first movie. Likely he didn't get killed off. He came back in Winter Soldier as the Winter Soldier, and then Civil War, that'll be in 2016. Set up like 2 movies in the next 5 years. 5 years, because Winter Soldier was, released in 2014, and Civil War was released in 2016, 5 years after the first movie. So I think it's the best movie. It told a good story, and I don't think there's any flaws going into it. Like Iron Man 2, it's back and forth between Iron Man and Captain America, which one's the best movie of Phase 1. But for me, I think Captain America is the best movie. It's told the storyline it was really intriguing. Same Iron Man's storyline was a bit intriguing, but it was there, but not like wow, this was fantastic. It was a good origin story, but not a great one. I think Captain America's origin story was great. It told a good story. It told a fantastic story. Like I said, I'm gonna repeat myself actually. A 94-pound weakling became an all-American hero. It's just like it's a mixture of real world and Marvel world. It's a war movie. I'm not a big fan of war movies. Sometimes war movies can be a little boring, but with Cap, he just like Chris Evans playing the role as Captain America, he nailed that role. It's like some people put second place, Iron Man 1 or Avengers first place. That's just me. So I'm gonna end this video. So that's my video ranking best 2 worst movies of Phase 1 of the MCU. That really sign off the Phase 1 of the MCU movie review series from 2008 until 2012. Next time, we're moving on to Phase 2 of the MCU movie review series. We've got 6 movies of that phase. We've got Iron Man 3, Thor 2, Dark Worlds, Captain America 2, Winter Soldier, the first Guardians of the Galaxy movie. We got Avengers 2, Age of Ultron, and the first Ant-Man movie from 2015. It only lasted about 2 years, 2013 until 2015. So, yeah, so I hope you enjoyed this video, folks. Leave your thoughts in the comment section below. Smash the like button. Subscribe to the Central Man Network on YouTube for more wrestling videos, Marvel videos, game streams, and more. And this is the Central Man officially signing out. Check you later.